Hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So I figured it's been a while since we talked about the left when it comes to the transgender situation and stuff like that, right? So here's a clip of a lady named Miriam Grossman. Now, if you've seen What Is a Woman, I'm sure you recognize her from there with Matt Walsh. Okay, great interview by the way. If you haven't seen it, I think in order for you to see it, you kind of have to pay for Daily Wire in order to see the interview because I looked for it on YouTube and I couldn't find it. Perhaps I didn't look hard enough, but yeah. And so here she is, you know, gonna talk about the transgender, pretty much the alphabet mafia whole situation. And so let's go ahead and listen to what she had to say, and I will give my 2 cents.
My name is Miriam Grossman. I am a board-certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist, author, and senior fellow at Do No Harm. I have been taking care of patients for 45 years. I'm going to use my time to respond to Dr. McNamara. First, I'm struck by her use of the phrase, sex assigned at birth. Sex is not assigned at birth. Sex is a
Now, as we continue, I'm just gonna let you know right now, I'm not gonna watch the entire video because when it comes to this kind of topic, I have a lot to say. All right. Now, with that being said, sex assigned by birth. What does that mean? To those of you out there who don't know what that means, maybe she might elaborate, but let me give my 2 cents. Is that they are assuming that when somebody is born right away, it is a social construct that they're gonna give this baby a gender when we shouldn't be giving this baby a gender. And so that's their definition when they say sex assigned by birth. So they're pretty much saying that we shouldn't do that. Rather, we should let the baby decide when they grow up on what gender they want to be. Now you know.
established at conception and it's recognized at birth, if not earlier. Dr. McNamara claims that her views are science-based, but to claim that sex is assigned at birth is without any scientific basis whatsoever. Its language misleads people, especially children, into thinking that male and female are arbitrary designations and can change. That is simply not true. Dr.
Yeah, you just can't wake up one day and then cut your thing off and then automatically makes you a woman. That's not how it work. It doesn't like I genuinely like sometimes I seriously wonder how do we think like that? Imagine me as a man just wake up one day, cut my thing off, and then all of a sudden I walk around saying that I'm a woman, and now I'm allowed to go into women's bathroom. I'm allowed to consider myself a woman. I still got my muscle. I still have my testosterone. My voice is still deep. I don't even have to cut anything off. I can literally look just like this, and just walk around and say I am a woman, and they can't stop me. They can't say you're not, because apparently now we shouldn't believe what we see anymore. Rather, we shouldn't assume of anything. We should just go ask the person what they are. When this is like when you why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Why are you trying to reinvent something that no human being had an issue with for millions, just for thousands and thousands and thousands of years? No human beings had any issue with this.
McNamara claims that social and medical interventions are the only evidence-based treatment and that scientific evidence shows it is life-saving. Without it, she's warning us, kids will commit suicide.
And that is their best line right there. Even if you ask Elon Musk, that's what he said. He's like, I lost my son. And he fell for the same line. Oh, if you don't go with transformation, they're going to commit suicide. Bullshit. See, when they're young and they're growing up, we've all been through this. You watching this, you're listening to me right now. I will tell you right now, I've been through it. You've been through it. As a young person, you start to have body dysphoria. You start to think that your body is, ugly, disgusting. You start to look at yourself in different ways. And, it's like the smallest thing that happens to you, it just changes your whole world. That's kids. Kids are not going to be happy with their body from a young age because they're going through the process of puberty. When you're going through the process of puberty, that's what happens is you start to look at yourself differently. You start to compare yourself with beautiful women. And so they are using that to say that these kids need to be, in their quote unquote right body because they feel like they're in the wrong body. It's not true. It's not true. If you give these kids a certain period of time and you let them grow up, eventually they will accept who they are. We, those of you who didn't go through the surgery, those of you who went through that process and still alive today, do you even think about it anymore? You really don't. You really, really don't.
Well, a growing number of countries have effectively banned the care to which she's referring. And thank God there's been no wave of suicides or other mental health catastrophes. 3 years ago, Finland placed strict limitations on medical interventions for minors. Sweden did the same thing after a 14-year-old girl was found to have osteoporosis and spinal fractures from puberty blockers. An investigation concluded, quote, the risks of anti-puberty and hormone treatment for those under 18 currently outweigh the possible benefits. The UK conducted a review and called the evidence very low. They've also placed severe restrictions on the care that Dr. McNamara calls life-saving. Norway also analyzed the data and has made similar changes in policy. The National Academy of Medicine in France warned, quote, great medical caution must be taken in children and adolescents, given the vulnerability of this population and the many undesirable, even serious complications the therapies cause. Doctors in New Zealand and Australia have published similar statements. Is Dr. McNamara suggesting that all these countries are rejecting evidence-based treatment and placing their kids at risk of suicide?
Apparently. Because she bought into that whole bullshit. So according to her, all these people that have banned these things, they're, I guess you can say, transphobic. They're literally putting kids in danger. They think they are doing kids favor when in reality they're doing the complete opposite. The complete opposite. And what I mean by that is at the beginning, let's say you end up giving this kid what they want. You give them the surgery. You end up cutting the thing off. They may feel happy at the beginning, but as time progresses, they're going to feel more and more depressed. Why? Because their body, their anatomy, the physique doesn't really change. As a man, you're always going to feel like a man. As a woman, you're always going to feel like a woman. You cannot change your feeling. You can't do surgery to change your feelings. That's impossible. There was a lady that did a research. Well, not really research, but she went ahead and put a mask, makeup on and to make herself look like a man, okay? And she pretended like a man, and she did this for 2 years. In the end, she ended up committing suicide because she couldn't cope with the way that women was treating men. Why? Because she is a woman. She wanted to identify as a man, but in the end, she was a woman. Yeah, she may not have taken any hormones or anything like that to change her voice to, I guess you can say, increase her testosterone or whatever. But ultimately, the fact that she tried to become a man, to infiltrate man, and over time in the end she ended up committing suicide is a really huge indication that you just can't wake up one day, consider yourself a woman or a man, and then automatically that just puts you in the category of that gender. That's not how that works.
Regarding that point of view, Finland's gender expert, Dr. Rita Kaltiela, said, quote, it's purposeful disinformation, the spreading of which is irresponsible. All 7 countries, and Florida too, of course, concluded that kids don't need their development interrupted, the girls don't need their periods stopped and their voices lowered, and the boys don't need to grow breasts. What they need is psychotherapy. I have other objections to Dr. McNamara's testimony. She insists that her position, only hers, represents standard medical care. What she doesn't want you to know is that there is no standard. There's a debate. There's a fierce debate. And on the side opposite her stand such prominent figures as Stephen Levine, Kenneth Zucker, Paul McHugh, and James Cantor, among others. These doctors are giants in the field. They have been treating transgender patients and gathering data and publishing papers about them, and I mean no disrespect here, but since before Dr. McNamara was born.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. All of those doctors deserve to lose their license and jailed. They need to be thrown in jail. Because I mean, when you think about it, this is body mutilation. Are we are just going insane, bro. I don't know what's going on with us.
The point is that those veteran clinicians and others who have wisdom and experience are ignored because they disagree with the current narrative. They're against medical interventions for the same reason those 7 countries are. They're
And you gotta understand, money. Money is the reason for what they are doing. Money is the motive for so many evil things that goes on into this world. You just offer the right amount of money, and you will have a grown man on his knee begging you like a dog. It's crazy what some people would do for money. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right there, man. She has, like she said, she's been doing this for a very very long time, so she knows what she's talking about. She went on Matt Walsh, and if you watch that interview, you will know who she is. Anyways, later.